Hey, what's up, y'all? And we're back with another preview and prediction video. So today we are going to be doing the USC Trojans and the Wisconsin Badgers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Hawkeyes. Uh, anyway, so yes, we are going to start with Southern Cal, and last year, yes, you were very disappointing. You went 7-5. I mean, of course, your defense was absolutely horrible. I mean, it was ranked in the hundreds. I mean, it was almost as bad as Colorado, right? It wasn't quite as bad as Colorado, but it was bad. So anyway, but you did manage to end the season well. You did beat Louisville in your bowl game to finish at 8-5. So anyway, so now for this year, yes, so obviously you do lose Caleb Williams, yep, Heisman Trophy winner, to the NFL. It got taken number 1 by the Chicago Bears. So anyways, last year, his numbers fell off from that Heisman season in 22. But yes, last year he was like 3,600 yards, 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, completed almost 70% of his passes. So anywhere like 69% of his passes. So, but in anyway, about 9 yards per attempt. So now and then, but you do bring back Miller Moss. Yes, was Caleb Williams' backup, and yes, he threw for like 600 and something yards. He had 7 touchdowns and only 1 interception. Completed like 70% of his passes, 10 yards per attempt, and he just absolutely balled out in the bowl game against Louisville, throwing for almost 400 yards, 6 touchdowns, and only 1 interception. Anyway, and then you also bring in Jaden Mayava from UNLV. And last year threw for about 3,000 yards, about 63% of his passes, for about 9 yards per attempt, 17 touchdowns to 10 interceptions. So yeah, not a very good ratio. Anyway, so yes, and Miller Moss is the projected starter. So Mayavo will be the backup. So now taking a look at running backs, yes, his name Joyner, yeah, to carry on Joyner, yeah, he's gone. Or no, it was sorry, it was Marshawn Lloyd. Yeah, I'm getting my South Carolina running backs confused. Yeah, the other USC. But anyway, yes, Marshawn Lloyd is gone, and so is Austin Jones. And anyway, but you do bring back Quinshawn Joyner, and you also got from the transfer portal, you got Woody Marks from Mississippi State. And now wide receivers, tight ends. You do lose your top two receivers. You lost Taj Washington, over 1,000 receiving yards last year. You also lost Brendan Rice to the NFL as well. But you do bring back your next two best receivers. You got Deuce Robinson and Zachariah Branch. And both of those guys were 5 stars in the 23 class. Right, you lose Mario Williams and Dorian Singer to transfer portal. So you do bring back a tight end, Lake McCree. And then from the transfer portal, you did get wide receivers, Jay Fair from Auburn, Kyle Ford from UCLA, and he actually started his career at USC. So, and you got Charles Ross from San Jose State. So now taking a look at your defense, I already mentioned how bad it was. I don't think I really need to tell you. I mean, yes, Lincoln Riley's defenses are usually pretty bad, but they're usually, but I mean, Lincoln Riley's defenses are not always this bad. So, but anyway, so yeah, and you did lose a few starters, right? You did lose a safety. Solomon Bird. No, wait, excuse me. It was a defensive end, Solomon Bird. Also lost a safety, Caitlin Bullock, cornerback, Christian Roland Wallace, and let's see, a defensive tackle, Kion Bars. Anyway, but you do bring back some players too. You do bring back linebacker Mason Cobb, cornerback Jason Smith, safety Bryson Shaw, defensive tackle Bear Alexander, defensive end Jamil Muhammad. And then anyway, so now oh yeah, let's see, you also lost a linebacker, Tackett Curtis, to the transfer portal. So, but anyway, from the portal, you do bring in some defensive linemen. You got Jordan Rakes from Texas A&M, and you got Nate Clifton from Vanderbilt. And so you got a safety, Kamari Ramsey from UCLA. You got a safety, John Humphreys from UCLA. Excuse me, a cornerback, John Humphreys from UCLA, cornerback. Greedy Vance from Florida State, a linebacker, Easton Macarenas Arnold, a linebacker from Oregon State. So, anyway, so yes, you do have a new defensive coordinator. Guess Lincoln Riley finally fired what's his name, Alex Grinch, and you do bring in your new defensive coordinator, DeAnton Lynn, and last year he was the DC at UCLA. Let's see, before, in 2020 he was a safeties coach with the Ravens. So, but anyway, so in only 1 year at UCLA, you turn them around from being a defense that was kind of bad, and guess one of the worst defenses, and last year turned them into one of the best defenses in the country. So can he do the same at USC? I don't know. I'll kind of have to see it to believe it. But anyway, and so how about we go ahead and get into the schedule? We start out week 1 against LSU in Las Vegas, the Modelo kickoff. And anyway, I already did my prediction for LSU, so you know that I have you losing this game because your defense, I don't know if it's better enough to stop LSU, or certainly not. You're certainly not going to get this defense turned around in the first game. So I do have you losing to LSU. And next, you get your first home game against Utah State, and you should just absolutely obliterate them. That takes you in your first bye week. You come out of that, and you're at Michigan. I've already done my Michigan preview. I mean, Michigan is still gonna have an elite defense, or that's what everyone is saying. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna have this one as a loss. I think Michigan will be able to slow your offense down and win this game. So this is a loss. Next, you do play at Minnesota, and I think this is a win. Minnesota's offense was pretty bad last year, as were all of the Big Ten West teams. Of course, there is no more Big Ten West, but anyway, I think that you should win this game. And the next, you do host Penn State, And yeah, just like with Michigan, Penn State is going to have one of the best defenses again. And for that same reason, I'm going to have you losing to Penn State. So that's your third loss. But don't worry, things will get better. Because after that, you do play at Maryland, and I'm giving you the win. And then next you play Rutgers. I mean, this is at home, but it's on a Friday night, and I mean, it's Rutgers, so I mean, you should win this game. And then next, you are at Washington. Now, Washington, loses pretty much the whole team from last year. They're losing all of their star players like Michael Penix and everyone. So, yeah, this will be a win. And then that takes you into your second bye week. You come out of that, and you play Nebraska. I already did my Nebraska preview. I think that they will be a lot better because they got Dylan Raiola, but I still have this as a win for you. Next, you play at UCLA, and now they're going to be in a rebuild since Chip Kelly left in the middle of the night to be the OC at Ohio State. So, yeah, I think this is a win. And now we come to your last game against your rival, Notre Dame. You get them at home, and I already did my Notre Dame preview, so you already know that yes, I do have you upsetting Notre Dame at home. Anyway, so that is going to bring your record out to 9-3 and 7-2 in the Big Ten. And now let's move on to the Wisconsin Badgers. And yes, last year y'all went 7-5 in the regular season, 7-6 after losing to LSU in your bowl game. And anyway, so that's 7-5. Yes, that included losses to Washington State and Indiana. Yeah, how did you lose to Indiana? I mean, they were absolutely horrible last year. I think you were their only conference win. So yeah, so you can't keep losing to these kind of teams. Anyway, so this is the second year of Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. Of course, he was very successful at Cincinnati. Of course, he got them to the college football playoff in 2021. So, anyway, so your quarterback, Tanner Mordecai, is gone. He had about 2,000 yards, 65% of his passes, 6.6 yards per attempt, 9 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. That's not very good. Yeah, that's pretty mediocre. Anyway, but he's gone now. And then the backup, Braden Smith, also, Braden Locke, also started like 3 games last year when Mordecai was hurt. So threw for like 700 and something yards. He had 50% completions, 5 yards per attempt. I mean, that's terrible. Then you had 5 touchdowns to 1 interception. But you do bring in Tyler Van Dyke from Miami. And I mean, last year he threw for 2,700 yards, completed 65.8% of his passes, 8 yards per attempt, 19 touchdowns to 12 interceptions. So yes, I believe that you are getting an upgrade at quarterback. And then Braden Locke will be the backup. Yeah, hopefully you won't have to put him in the game. And then your running backs, you do lose Braylon Allen. He's gone to the NFL. He was your leading rusher for the last 3 years. But anyway, yeah, he had almost 1,000 yards. Last year, he had 1,200 yards in his freshman and sophomore years. Anyway, but you do bring back Ches Malusi, or Malusi. But I mean, last year would have been his last year, but his season was cut short due to injury, as he had a fractured fibula. So yeah, so he is being allowed to come back for a 6th year. And you also bring back Jackson Aker, and then you do also bring in Tawi Walker through the transfer portal from Oklahoma. So yeah, you're going to be spreading the carries around a lot more this year without having Braylon Allen to feed the ball to. So anyways, now taking a look at your wide receivers and tight ends. You do bring back your top 2 receivers. So you do bring back Will Pauling and Bryson Green. And you also bring back C.J. Williams. You do lose Chimere Dyke and Skylar Bell, the transfer portal. And then from the transfer portal, you got Joseph Griffin from Boston College, and Tyrell Henry from Michigan State. So now taking a look at your defense. Now you do lose 5 starters. I mean, you lose defensive lineman Gio Paz and Rodas Johnson to the transfer portal. and then you lose some linebackers. You lose um, Jordan Turner, C.J. Goats, and Mayma, Nijong Meta. And then, yeah, but you do bring back, let's see, your linebacker, Jake Chaney. You're bringing back a safety, Hunter Wohler, who had 120 tackles last year, and safety Preston Zachman, and defensive lineman James Thompson, and cornerbacks Ricardo Hallman and Nazir Forkreen. And then Ricardo Hallman had 7 interceptions, which was tied for first in FBS with Notre Dame's Xavier Watts. Now let's look at who you have coming back. Let's see, you return defensive lineman Ben Barden and Kurt Neal. Then from the transfer portal, did get defensive lineman Dawson Lane from Stephen F. Austin, and Elijah Hills from Albany. And you do also bring in linebackers Jaheim Thomas from Arkansas. You got Leon Lowry from Syracuse, and Tackett Curtis from Southern Cal, and you got John Pius from William and Mary at outside linebacker, and he had 9 sacks last year at William and Mary. So, but anyways, how about we just go ahead and get into the schedule now. So you do start out week 1, you do play Western Michigan, and now this should be an easy warm-up game for you. So this is a win. Same thing with South Dakota State. Just South Dakota. Sorry, not state, just South Dakota. Guess you should destroy both of these teams before you play Alabama. And I've already done my preview for Alabama, so obviously I have this as a loss. It's Alabama, so there's really no shame in it. And then after that, you get your first bye week. You come out of that, and you play at USC, and I just did USC, so that's a loss. And then you come back home, you play Purdue, right, or Purdue. They were terrible last year. And you haven't lost to Purdue since 2003. Uh, so yeah, this is a win. You own Purdue. And the next, you've got back-to-back road games. You are at Rutgers and at Northwestern. I, I mean, you need to beat these two teams. You're better than them, so I have you getting the dub. Next, you go back home and you play Penn State. And if you already saw my Penn State preview, then you know that yes, I have you upsetting Penn State at home. I mean, Penn State has to play you right before they play Ohio State, I think, or maybe it was right after. But anyway, so maybe you get caught looking ahead. They get caught looking ahead to Ohio State. So, and then next you do play at Iowa. And yes, I do have you losing to Iowa. But Iowa has a great defense, terrible offense, but still think they, probably find a way to keep you from scoring enough points. And so I do have this as a loss. And then that takes you in your second bye week. After that, you do play Oregon. And I mean, this is an automatic L. I've already done Oregon, so next you do play at Nebraska. Right, the last time you lost to Nebraska was in 2012. And yes, I've already done my Nebraska preview. Think they're going to be a little bit better because of Dylan Raiola, but I still have this as a win. And then you finish things out against Minnesota. This will be a Black Friday game. Yeah, Friday after Thanksgiving. And yeah, I think you're gonna get the win here too. As the series has been close for the last few years, but I mean you've really owned Minnesota for pretty much the last 30 years, so I think that continues, and you get the win, even though they have beat you 2 of the last 3. So, but anyway, so that does bring your record out to 8-4. So that's one more win better than last year. So that's improvement. So, and I do also have you at 6-3 in the Big Ten. Now we're moving on to the Iowa Hawk-Tuas. I mean the Hawkeyes. And yes, Kirk Ferentz does return for like his 30th season at Iowa. But anyway, and then the guy who was coaching Iowa before him was there for like 40 years. But anyway, yes, last year y'all did go 10-2. guess somehow you went 10-2, and but one of your losses being to Minnesota, and yeah, the other one was to Penn State, and then you did win the Big Ten West. You made the Big Ten title game, where you got shut out by Michigan. Yes, first you got shut out by Penn State, then you got shut out by Michigan in the Big Ten championship, and then you went on to get shut out by Tennessee in your bowl game. Anyway, but your offense was just absolutely horrible last year. I mean, it was I mean the worst offense I've ever seen, but somehow you managed to go 10-2. You won a lot of close games against against a lot of bad teams because your defense was really good. And well, most of the teams you were playing don't exactly have high flying offenses. I mean a lot of the offenses in the Big Ten West were trash last year. Of course, there is no East and West now, so I mean, so yes, your defense was really good, but you also weren't playing the best of competition either. Anyway, so yes, your defense last year you only had like 15 points per game, like 235 yards per game. I mean, yes, it was bad. I mean, in 2022, you thought it was bad. Well, 2023, it got worse. It actually got worse. Didn't think that was possible, but you still managed to win 10 games. Anyway, so yes, your quarterback, get one of your quarterbacks, Deacon Hill. Well, he's gone. He transferred to Utah Tech. So, well, it was actually Cade McNamara started out as a starter, but then he was injured in like week 5. So then Hill ended up taking over the rest of the season. And then Hill threw for like 1,100 yards, completed 48.6% completions, 4.6 yards per attempt, 5 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And then you had Cade McNamara. I mean, he was a little bit better. Threw for 500 yards. He had like 51% completion. I mean, 5.6 yards per attempt, 4 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. So hey, I mean, at least he had positive touchdown to interception ratio. But anyway, so you do also get from the transfer portal, you did get Brendan Sullivan from Northwestern. Now, he was not the starting quarterback for Northwestern. That was Ben Bryant, but Sullivan did get a lot of playing time because Bryant did suffer an injury at one point, so Sullivan actually ended up starting like 4 games. But anyway, Sullivan did complete about 700 and something, yeah, almost 800 yards. He did complete like 63.6% of his passes. He had like 7 yards per attempt and 6 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. So yeah, he did have much better numbers than what Cade McNamara had. But anyway, at the end of the spring, it was thought that that McNamara is probably going to end up being the starter, but in case he does, bad or gets hurt again, you could also put Sullivan in the game. Anyway, does it really matter who starts? Not really. Anyway, but now for your running backs, yes, you do bring back LaShawn Williams and Caleb Johnson. In the wide receivers, you do lose your tight end, Eric All, but you do bring back wide receiver Nick Reganey and wide receiver Caleb Brown, and you also have a tight end, Addison Ostringa. Anyway, now about your defense. You do bring most of it back. You do bring back. Well, you only lose 3 starters. You just lose a defensive tackle, Logan Lee, a defensive end, Joe Evans. He had 9.5 sacks, and you also lose your cornerback Cooper DeJean. You guess the first white cornerback to get drafted since I don't know when, but you do bring back your linebackers, Jay Higgins and Nick Jackson, a safety, Sebastian Castro. You bring back a corner, Jamari Harris. You've got defensive tackle, Yaya Black, and you got Aaron Graves, another defensive lineman. So, but anyway, so I expect it to be the same story like last year. I mean, a good defense, horrible offense. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and take a look at your schedule. So you do start out week 1 against Illinois State, and I mean this should be an easy win. Even for you, I mean you might get into the 30s in this game. So, in the next after that, you do play Iowa State, and yes, this is a big rivalry game. It was called the Iowa Corn Cyhawk um, Trophy. Anyway, yes, so they did beat you the last time you played them at home. So, and I mean, yes, I just have a feeling that yes, Iowa State beats you. So next you got Troy, and that should be a win. Right, so you're 2-1, and then next you do play at Minnesota, and yes, you lost to Minnesota 12-10 last year. It's a revenge game for you, so I think that you'll get the dub, and that does take you into your first bye week. And then you come out of that, you play Ohio State. Yeah, you've got absolutely no chance in this game. I mean, it's only a question of can you even score? Anyway, so the next you do play Washington, and yeah, one of the new teams in the Big Ten. Guessing Washington just loses a ton. Last year's team, Michael Penix and everyone, Rome, Odunze, and everyone, you lost a ton on defense as well. So, yeah, so I think this is going to be a win. All right, next you're at Michigan State, and yes, I think that you lose a close, low-scoring game to Michigan State. Anyway, next you do. Because last year you were in a lot of these close games. I think that that they got lucky in a lot of. I think that in more of these games this year you won't get so lucky. So I have you losing at Michigan State. Well, I like their coach, Jonathan Smith from Oregon State. So anyway, next you do play Northwestern, and I think this is a win. Yes, it was a miracle what Northwestern did last year, but guess I still think you're going to beat them. After that, you do play Wisconsin. Now, of course, we just did Wisconsin, so I have this one as a win. And then next, you do have to play at UCLA on a Friday night. I think that that this being a Friday night game combined with the fact that you have to fly all the way out to LA for this game, so it's just creating just a really weird environment. So I have you losing this one. And then after that, second bye week. And then you've got at Maryland. Maryland loses Talia Tungavailoa. Yeah, Tua's little brother. So I think you'll beat them, Maryland, even though it is on the road. And then you come back home for your last game. You get Nebraska. And yeah, I already did Nebraska. So, I have you winning this game too. So, even though, yes, Nebraska has Dylan Raiola, but still gave you the win. So, anyways, that does put your record at 8-4 and 6-3 in the Big Ten. So, anyways, that is going to be it. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. Give me your record prediction for these three teams. And thanks for watching. And I'll see y'all again next time.